1 week after the Hail Mary heard around the world. A giant opportunity just up the road in Jersey. Hey, Commander fan.
Woo! We're having too much fun.
What do you think about the game today?
It's going to be a good one no matter what happens.
We're going to win. We're going to win. Dominate.
I think we're going to blow them out. We're going to do well. That's all I'm going to say. I think we're going to blow them out. It's our time, man. It's our time.
No Hail Mary hangovers for the boys in Burgundy. They took care of business and improved to 7-2.
And I'm having the time of my life right now. I'm really enjoying just the process, the work we're putting in each and every week.
Yeah, that's a W.
What to make of Sunday's workman-like win?
Embrace it. Like you always want to embrace these challenges, and I think we needed that one in that fashion.
And getting ready for the Steelers.
You know, each week is different, but we're finding ways to win in different ways, and that's what we're going to need if we want to make a playoff push.
On this edition of Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus.
The man
Call somebody,
is back,
tell
y'all.
somebody. We're
He's
back. Call
He's
your
back.
mama, call your daddy.
We're back, and we're back.
We're back.
Tony McGee,
We're back, y'all.
We're back. Tony
Hey.
McGee.
Come on. Tony McGee, Pro Football Plus. Tony McGee, Pro Football Plus. Tony McGee, Pro Football Plus. Tony McGee. What's up?
Once again, welcome to Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus. My mother-in-law used to always have a saying, if anybody would have told me. And if anyone would have told us 3 weeks ago that this team would be number one, the offensive line would be starting to make a name for itself. The quarterback can play hurt. The running back didn't play because of money, and we'll find out about that during the show. And you got a team that's becoming a team, and they're number one. Nobody would have believed it. Now, we were talking last week. We're talking this week even how bad they were. But if you take a look at this team, it's really growing. So I went and got some guys that's been here and watched the whole thing. Unfortunately, I had to get 2 receivers. And you know what G-Man going to say about that. I got the people to know what they're doing. So what we do, we brought the Tanner Moss back in here. We brought the G-Man. And you know what? This big guy that's with y'all, Solomon, this brother's starting to get some play out here, y'all. We're going to have to hold him down. He mess around and be movie star on us in a minute. And Donna, when you take him out to the locker room, he's just like one of the players, huh?
And yeah, Tony, everybody looking at him like he'd have played the game and everything. But Tony, you talked about this Commanders team. It started off 7-2. First time since 1996 as this team has started off like this. And when you look at this team, they're improving week in and week out. But Tony, before you throw it to the guys to kind of like analyze this game and we move on to the Pittsburgh game, let's go to the locker room to hear what the players had to say about beating the Giants for the first time in a long time, twice in one season in the division. Could you talk a little bit just about where this team is right now? 7-2.
Yeah, man, it's, like I said, it's been a long time coming, and I think we're at a good spot, and we can't get too high. We still have to, go through every week and treat it like, this record is not here, because we want to win every time, and you always want to start 1-0 every week.
It seems like that when you look at you all, just each piece is starting to just fall in place.
Yeah, so for us, we all just want to contribute, and we know our job, exactly what we have to do to execute our job, and even for certain folks, like to step up, like C-Rod to step up and running the ball like how he did, that's big, and everybody's capable of doing everything. As long as you do your job, we'll be good.
It's just an exciting win for us, man. Everybody had a hand in it, even the receivers, OZ, Noah, Dayami. We can't do it without one another, and that's why this team and this game is so great. I enjoy it because you never know who's going to make the play, but we know somebody in this locker room is going to make it. I don't like to harp too much on the past, but they had our number the last few years, and that's been a reason why we haven't had to try to have the success that we wanted to have. But this year is a completely new team, is a completely new vibe and feel, and it just nothing points to that more than our ability to finish when we had to finish against a team that wasn't going to go away, that continued to fight to the end. And, that's why these division games are so tough, because they're always going to go to 4 quarters.
That one early in the game, like, obviously that's huge. That's a huge one. It's complementary football. Having defense getting us the ball, and but that's the momentum swings. That's what you want to keep thriving on, the momentum, and even when you don't have it, you got to create it. And I think that's the biggest part of our team right now, is like how we create energy and how we go about our business, whether coming off a 3 and out, and like how we respond back, and that's huge, especially in these division games. And I talk to I just embrace it. Like you always want to embrace these challenges, and I think we needed that one in that fashion, and how we ended it. That was huge for us.
7-2. Talk about this 7-2 start for this team right now. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you feel like you're on a great stretch, but that's the beauty of it, is just to keep finding edges and keep finding great ways to keep learning and helping out the younger guys, whatever you need to have. And in regards of like record-wise, like we're going to Pittsburgh. It's all about Pittsburgh, right? We're gonna obviously enjoy this one tonight, but at the same time get ready for Pittsburgh at home. Obviously we're really excited to go back home with our home fans. They've been great. But yeah, I mean, I think you just feel that ascension of the growth of our team, and that comes back from even OTAs, camp, and just that level up, keep growing at an exponential rate. That's tougher to do, and we've been doing great things here.
How huge is this game as far as just the way this team, the Giants wouldn't go away, but this team fought to pull out this win? Talk just about the fight in this team overall.
We just believe as an offense, every time we step on the field, we're going to score points. We got a lot of belief in our coaches. They got a lot of trust in us. And we got Jaden pulling the trigger. We feel like at any point we're going to score a touchdown. And so our defense was doing their thing. They played a really good rush offense, the team that was committed to the run today. Shortening the game, I don't know how many plays we had, but it was definitely not a normal volume of plays. But at the end of the day, found a way to win against a really good defense, in my opinion. I think that team is a good defensive football team. And we just had a battle today.
Hey, that guy looked like Kelsey. When did we get him on the team? Is that why we winning? But no, I'm gonna tell you what. And all during the course of this, and all during the course of all these years, 40 years, I've been talking mess. But one thing I have to say, the biggest individuals to me this year in the maturity of this team has been the receivers. And I'm gonna tell you what, I like to hear from 2 of the best. It looks as though these guys are adjusting. They're making the catches. Now, I know we have a very good quarterback. They've even made the offensive line. But right now, it seems as though when we need the big play, when we want to go somewhere, those receivers are driving the bus.
Yeah, I think one of the things that stand out to me is just like what De'Ami Brown and, Terry kind of alluded to. They all have a hand in it. It's just not, 2 or 3 guys that's sharing the wealth. Every last one of these guys are going out there and having an integral part of this team's success, this offense's success, and each and every drive that they have a chance to go out there and score. That's what Dan Quinn was talking about when he had that trade early in the year and he got rid of Dotson. That, hey, if you don't fit the mold of the player that I'm looking for, then you can't play here. And not to say that Dotson didn't fit the mold, but they felt that they can do without him, knowing that next year or in the coming years, they're going to have to, pay somebody, and he wasn't probably one of those guys that they wanted to see. So, yeah, I'm loving it, man. I think, going forward, man, that's something you can look forward to, man. Just seeing JD5 go out there willing and dealing, he's going to give everybody an opportunity, whether it's the receivers, the tight ends, and the running backs coming out of the backfield.
Yeah, you could have got a better match than that, and I know you're going to tell us about it, G. But at the same time, the one thing that does help that young man, it gets him to make big plays when he needs them, as well as you guys are getting open and making the catches, is so big to me. And I tell you what, I want to go before I go to you, cool G-Man. Solomon, you had some rumors out there. The running back, why didn't our big running back play on Sunday?
I've heard a little bit of everything.
But wait a minute now, make sure it's true. Let's get our lawyer and let's get your sister in so we can document it.
I've kind of heard a little bit of everything, and then one of the reports was it was a money incentive situation. I was hearing and I'm just like, well, wait a second.
you don't want to do nothing to tarnish a team when we're playing like this. So I'm hoping the things I heard were untrue, where I'm hoping it was an actual injury. But I'm just looking at JD5 is playing through his injury. So what was going on with Robinson where he was out? Now, mind you, the three-headed monsters that we had, as far as the three-headed backs that we had that got the job done, they was balling out of control still. But I was just wondering, like, he was definitely healthy the last game, and in this game it was a no-show. And the people was talking, the barbershops were talking, and they said it was a money incentive situation.
Well, let me just tell you this. We don't listen to barbershop. We listen to true facts.
Man, we've been listening to your sources for 40 years, and they ain't got it right yet.
We got the sources, and Santana could allude to this also. Brian Robinson would be on that field if he could have been on that field, because he's been nicked up. He's been nicked up a little bit this season with hamstring. He had a knee problem also, and that's something that has lingered with him since training camp a little bit, and he was dying to get in. Coach Quinn talked about that in his presser today, that they had to hold him back because he definitely wanted to play. And they held him out last week in practice also, hoping that he would be ready to go. But you don't want that injury to become bigger, because they're going to need him down the stretch. But this team, when you got Chris Rodriguez came in, a guy that almost was off this team, and he came in and produced and had 11 carries for 52 yards. As far as Eckler had 11 for 42, and they had a total of 149. So this team is built around that. They have depth at that running back position, that if one guy can go, Brian Robinson is going to be so key down the stretch that they can afford for those injuries to become major moving forward. So the barbershop people does not have it right.
And I'm glad you said that, Donna, because we always feel like he's a good young man. He's out there trying. And one thing about it, G can tell you, only we know what's going on when it's time to go out there, and you're going to try to go, but at the same time, you feel like you're about 40%. So I tell you what, it doesn't matter what happened. This team is on the rise, and I'm going to look at that offensive line as being my second mode of individuals is really getting it done. And G-Man, as good as receivers and running backs are, if that offensive line ain't rocking, it ain't rolling.
Yeah, it's true. You're always only as good as your offensive line, 100%. The offensive line is doing well, and the nice thing about it, when they do break down, Jaden's able to escape and still make plays. So, I mean, it's a wonderful offense to be looking at this year. The receivers are doing a great job of creating space, and giving Jaden something to throw at, giving him targets to throw at, as Santana said. I mean, everybody's playing well right now, and it's nice to see that the burgundy and gold is doing what's necessary to win football games. I mean, there was so many times in the past where they would lose games like this, and now they're winning games like this. I mean, it's fun to watch again. It's fun to watch the people. It's fun to watch to go out and see. I was at an appearance the other day, and it was just packed with people wearing burgundy and gold all through the sports bar. It was burgundy and gold, and you haven't seen that in a long time.
Oh, man, we got to get back out there. We got to take the show on the road again then, because that's what I like to see. But at the same time, that's what this community needs, and that's what they're giving them. And that's the same. You look at the people that are here. It looks as though, and I know everybody was saying, "Oh, wait, they got rid of Chase." Well, all Chase had was some good-looking hair. I didn't see nothing else. Okay, and then they talking about they got rid of. They should never got rid of Sweat. I want everybody to hear me say that right now. That young man is going to be a Pro Bowler for years to come. He got the size, the speed, and everything. But I guess they felt they had to make the move. But one thing I see about these moves, and Donna, I'm coming back to you on this, is they look at these players. None of the players have the same amount or a great amount of talent than the people that they got rid of. But all of the players work on playing their position correctly, and that's why they're doing well.
Yeah, Tony, that's the key thing, like you said, is this coaching staff put this team together for competition. It's for everybody. It doesn't matter if you were a veteran or if you were a newcomer. They built this team that the next guy up would be able to immediately come in and play. That's what Chris Rodriguez did also. But Tony, let me throw some numbers at you. The Steelers offense come in at 23rd in the league. The Commanders come in at 2nd. And also the Commanders are 3rd in the offense with 300 and some yards, scoring 29.5 points, and rushing. When have we ever said that the Commanders finally, we've been talking about the bread and butter, 166 yards per game, Tony. So I'm going to throw it back to you because you got to wind it up so that we can move on and talk about a little about the defense, how they almost let the Giants get back into the game.
I'm going to move this on over to the next one because you know what? We need to talk about this Pittsburgh team. Dangerous. They may not be averaging that many points, but I tell you what, they're averaging 60 minutes every game. And that's what this young team is going to have to find out about when they go against them. When we come back from this break, and I've eaten everything I possibly can, I'll probably have to find out how I can finish this show, but I'll work on that too. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back, and I tell you what, it's just like they always say, let a brother eat, and I ain't going to work hard, but I'm going to try to get this done because we're getting ready to talk a little defense here. Everybody's talking about the defense. As I said, the one thing I see about this defense, no, they don't have a tremendous amount of talent or even more than the individuals they got rid of, but they bought in linebackers that's played in the league for 15 years. They bought in defensive linemen that hasn't been in the league over 15 minutes. They brought in individuals, they are teaching them how to play as a unit. And that's what's so important about this, Donna. As a defense, you always have to have a unit. Now, we do have some spots out there that will have to be cleared up. But this game coming this weekend is a dangerous game. Pittsburgh is a team that's going to play you for 61 minutes. They're going to hit you everywhere but loose. And what you got to do is stand up to them. They're not going to score over 20 points, but they're not going to let you score many more than that. So here's the test for our offense this week. Can we score the point? For our defense, are we tough for 4 quarters? For our special teams, can we contribute? And for our quarterbacks, can you be better than Russell Williams? Talk to me, Donna.
Yeah, Tony, the defense kind of like let up a little bit in the fourth quarter, but when you look at just the play of this defense overall, Jeremy Chin has really played the last 2 games really well because this is the guy that they bought in. And he told me, he said, look, 7 games is the most that I won in my whole career. And then you got Quan Martin. Those 2 guys complement each other so well. And then as far as Johnny Newton, since he's been in there, but one guy that's really been standing out too is Dante Fowler. 6 sacks, Tony, in the last 5 games. But let's go to the locker room to hear from the defense, who said that, you know, they've got to make sure that they keep the foot on the brakes at all, as you say, 4 quarters.
You know, all 11 guys, like we work really well together. The communication's been great. It's still stuff to work on, still improvements to be made, but yeah, I'm feeling good. It's great. 7 games is the most games I've won in my career in a season. So to be 7-2 right now, it's a really good spot. It's a testament to the work that we put in, but it's the reason why we're 7-2 is because we're putting in work. So we got to continue to just find ways to get better. Yeah, I mean, the first thing is finishing the game, going off 4 quarters and winning the game on defense. That's something we really want to do and take a lot of pride in, just being able to just, hey, we won this game on defense and just finish the game strong.
So it's going to always be a good game with those guys, man. They're going to come out and play us pretty hard. So, I mean, just glad we was able to come out with a win. And like I said, we just got to keep going and just learn from the little mistakes we made in this game.
What does it say about this team as far as the Giants just wouldn't go away today, but you all fought to, you know, still come away with this win?
It's a 4-quarter game, man, and it's going to be ebb and flows, ups and downs throughout the game, but it's really just how you respond to, you know, things that happen in the game. So I feel like we responded well, and we came out with a win.
We held them down in the first half. In the second half, you know, we just got to come out, you know, on a hot start, you know, stop the run, you know, and big explosive plays they be throwing down. So, you know, we just got to get better from this and then move forward.
The Giants tried not to go away, but just talk about how this team fought, you know, throughout the whole game to get this win.
Man, we fought all 4 quarters. It's a hard lead to win in. So props out to them, man. They came out and especially on offense, did what they had to do, put some points on the board against our defense, and I'm big on that, and we got to get better on that part.
Another guy, Tony, that has really stepped up is Frankie Louvu.
Well, those Gucci sunglasses they were wearing, what? Everybody had those.
Those were them good old Pradas.
I'm gonna tell you what, but hey, big fella, tell me about this. Russell Wilson, you watched it. He's coming back. He's looking good. He's gonna know every weakness that this defense has. How do you prepare for him? How does this defense? One thing we know, we got to keep him in the pocket. Other than that, what do you do to stop Russell? Because they got a very good running game. They got a toughness, and that's what you're always going to hear with Pittsburgh. But Russell Wilson will be the one that stir the milk or whatever they have. I think they may have something a little stronger than milk. But at the same time, what do you do to stop this guy?
Well, first of all, we do have a guy that played with Russell Wilson, Bobby Wagner. So one thing is, I know Bobby's going to go on and give a couple play options to the defensive coordinator, what Russell likes to do and don't do, or like to do, what he likes to do and that he doesn't like to do. Also, I feel it's good about, like Donna said, I'm feeling good about Jeremy Chin. They got him like back in the day from the Legion of Boom with Seattle, where they lines Cam up all over. Cam's about 6'4", 6'5", being rangy. So I like how they Jeremy Chin's coming up. So he's actually blowing up some of them runs, but then he's going back there and actually helping the corners. So I'm feeling good that we got Bobby Wagner and company back there, and he has played with the young men before. So he'll probably be able to give us a couple pointers on what we need to do this Sunday to stop him.
I don't know if technique's going to be important this Sunday. What's more toughness. And that, I mean, come on, G, you played Pittsburgh many years. And one thing we all know, they have always been a tough team.
They're always a tough team. I don't think I ever lost to them, but they've always been a great team. You can always expect their defense.
You got that dime on it. You ain't never lost to them, so we got to get on your team there.
I mean, I could be incorrect because I'm old now. My memory's not what it used to be, but I don't remember losing to them. But what I do remember is they've always had a great defense, no matter what. Their defense always plays you tough. They always play you strong, and they always come up and hit. So it's going to be interesting to see what we do against Pittsburgh. I'm expecting to win, like I think all the fans are, quite honestly, because there's something nice about being number one in your division and keeping that the whole entire year. And that's what I'm hoping the Burgundy and Gold does. They keep it the whole entire year, because once you get that confidence going into the playoffs, then you roll over people. And that's what I hope we're able to do.
So, Donna, you take a look at this whole thing, and one thing about it that we both know, and you tell me what is the biggest aspect of that team, speaking of Pittsburgh, that this team needs to look out for on Sunday?
Well, I'm glad that you asked that, Tony.
You just been waiting.
No. But I mean, Pittsburgh come in, their 6th-ranked defense in the NFL, but they do have problems with stopping the run. Because when you look at the Giants in week number 9, Pittsburgh is coming off their bye week. But you look at Pittsburgh as far as against the Giants, they gave up 394 yards, Tony, and then 157 rushing yards. So they can be ran on also. But the Commanders' defense is ranked like right third in the top 20 too. So this is going to be a battle, chess match. But then it's going to come down to the coaches also. But Santana, you know this team. You've seen them many of times and everything. What do you think are some of the strong points as far as when you look at the matchups on defense and offense between these two teams?
Well, I think when you're thinking about, speaking of them stopping the run, they're still ranked 4th in stopping the run. So they're going to be a force to reckon with there. But I think one of the things that they have going for them, they are an opportunistic defense. They find a way to get the ball back. They have 10 interceptions this year, and I believe 5 forced fumbles and 5 recovery fumbles. So, you got your boy Hayward, you have Watt, and you have Highsmith. Those guys on the D-line, they have a couple more guys that you can talk about that they're ferocious when it comes to getting after the quarterback. And that's something that stands out to me, is that one of the things that we have done well when we played guys of that nature, like we did against the Giants this past weekend. The Giants came in with 35 sacks, leading the league in sacks, and we held them, to not get any sacks at all on Jaden. So I do believe we got to buckle down and be ready for Watt to be disruptive. He's going to try to be disruptive. You have Hayward in the middle going to try to stop us from running the ball. But I think one of the things we do well offensively is we play the kind of football that's balanced enough where we can use one against the other. When our run game not there, we can throw the ball on the outside. They're giving up a little more than 200-something yards on the outside, even though they like to press and play in those tight coverages and be sticky in the back end. But I just think collectively, we have a way of playing together, the kind of football that you've been wanting to see for a long time here. And when the defense is doing their thing, the offense come right in and say, thank you. Now it's time for us to punch it in. And that's what I want to see this weekend. I think we're going to have to go out there and play that kind of football for us to have a chance to win.
Hey, Santana, they do have a problem as far as stopping a running quarterback like Jayden Daniels. That has given Pittsburgh some problems in the end. So who do you like, Tony? You got Jayden Daniels over here, and then you got Russell Wilson over on the other side. I'm betting my money on Jayden Daniels.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to put it on there for the simple reason that I've seen the improvement. I've seen this team with Russell Wilson. I think they played pretty good. At the same time, they did a smart thing by not starting him the first week. But at the same time, it's still a team adapting to it.
Hey, did they win, Tony? Did they win without him?
Well, come on now.
Oh, come on. I'm just saying.
We won without you.
Tony, they won.
We won without you.
No, you didn't win without me.
But no, you take a look at it. It's just the thing that it's going to come down to all facets of the game. And this is one of the first ones they're having like that this year, where not only do you have a team that plays well, not only do you have a team that's physical, you have a team that's smart, you have a team that's been a quarterback that's been to the Super Bowl, and you got the defensive player of the year. So this is not going to be anything where you can play for 3 quarters. You will have to play Pittsburgh for 60 minutes if you want to win this game. And I'm going to tell you what, the one thing I've seen in these kind of games, and I want to ask somebody right now, when we're going to have to take a quick break right now, but when we get back, I want to find out one thing.
You got about 2 minutes, Tony.
Yeah, I wanted to get this question out so much, and we don't have 2 minutes to answer, but I tell you what, when we come back, let's talk a little bit about have to play a team that's not only good physically, but a team that's mentally good as well as they are a developed team. And that's what Pittsburgh has right now. You got to look at the whole last year when they were trying to just win games with no offense at all. And they did that. Now they got a quarterback. Running back worked in. Defense is hanging in there. This is a dangerous game. When we come back, we'll talk about it a little bit more. Well, one thing we do know about this Pittsburgh team, no matter how old the players are, how young they are, who the players are, we know that this team has always been a team that's tough. This team is going to play you for 60 minutes, and this team will hurt you. So what we have to look at, special teams will be equally as important in this game as in the other game, Donna. And one thing about Pittsburgh, that coach has been there for 18 years. And he has been doing a great job for 18 years. So this is not going to be a walk in the park. And this will give us an indication where the Commanders are right now.
Oh, definitely, Tony. This is one of those key games on this schedule as far as Pittsburgh, like you said. They don't have a lot of people here that live here that are Pittsburgh fans and everything. So this is going to be so key. But, Tony, the special teams for this Washington Commanders, we haven't talked a lot about that because special teams are always struggled in the past, but this special teams unit is really solid. They cover well. They got 2 good return men in Olamide and Eckler. And then as far as just stopping, I want kind of like Santana to talk just a little bit, Tony, on the special teams, because we sometimes go over them and don't say much about them. But this is one year, Tony, that the special teams is pretty special.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's going for us is not only is our kickoff, our punt, you name it, every part of our special teams is clicking right now. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure who's one or who's two, but I believe both of these teams are in the top two in special teams. One of our old guys over there, man, he's always been, Danny has always been great when it comes to finding ways to I guess you can say impact the game in the punt return, kick return part of the game. I think last week, the week before they ran a punt back. I was watching that game. So I know Danny's going to come home, back here in Washington and try to implement his say-so and seeing if that team could be special against us. But I like what we're doing. I think, our kickoff team has been, splitting heads, whatever you want to call it. They've been down there and, playing at a high level. And what more could I say about Siebert? He's a guy that I think right now going into this week, he only have two missed field goals. And one of those, he kicked the ground first. So I don't even call that one, count that, that a miss. But I do believe both of these special teams are right now playing a high level, and it's going to be an intricate part in this game to see, who stands tall, and whatever team that outperforms each other might be the reason why that particular team wins.
Tony, talk about standing tall. Let's go around the NFC East to talk about this Commanders team at 7-2. Then on down, you got Philadelphia. I think they're at 6-2. Dallas, they may be without their starting quarterback for the rest of the season, Dak Prescott. That hamstring injury ended up being, I think, worse than what it is. And I think CD Lamb, they got hurt. So, Tony, the Dallas Cowboys are playing the Eagles, I think, this coming week. The Eagles, to me, seem like that they've got their groove back. But how do you see this Cowboys? Can they still be dangerous against a team like the Eagles?
They like any pretty girl to get all of her makeup knocked off. And that's what happened to them. They just knocked the makeup off of Dallas and pulled the cover. They can't play, they beat up, and they might as well go home. I don't feel sorry for them at all. But one thing I do have to ask, and I want to ask for all you guys, how in the world can New York, who is not bad as we thought they would be, give away Barkley? And he's going up there and he's made Philadelphia a whole new team. They are dangerous again. And I'm going to tell you what, I have not seen right now, he is the best running back in the game. How do you give him away? But as far as Dallas, stick a fork in them because they've been done.
Hey, Solomon, what about the running back up in Bark? I think he had over 100 and some yards on Sunday, and they're starting to play him a lot more. Is this Eagles team starting to turn the pages? Are they the dangerous team that the Commanders have to watch out for?
Well, I'm always going to be worried about the Eagles ever since back in the day with Randall Cunningham and then to the Donovan McNabb days of why JD5 wears 5. But my biggest thing is I feel like if we maintain and continue to go forward, and the biggest thing that we're not talking about is we have phenomenal players, but we have great coaches. Like, I'm going to give it up to Dan Quinn. I watched him in Atlanta those 5 years just get that team back on a level of winning. So I feel like it's going to be a matchup of coaches as far as in our division. But as far as like my father was saying, I feel like the Dallas is who they are. I feel like Eagles, we're going to have to watch them because Saquon has changed the fundamentals of that team where they can throw it and now they can run it. So, but I still feel good about us just because we don't talk about it, but we have phenomenal coaching this year. I watched Dan make adjustments. I watched Cliff make adjustments. I even watched the defensive coordinator make adjustments during the game. So that's what's really taking us over the top also.
Yeah, I'm second that.
Yeah, go on, Santana.
No, I mean he made a great point. I think a valid point. And that's one of the things that stand out to me is looking at this team after the first 2 weeks. You all say that it was stagnant a bit. I mean, don't get me wrong. Jaden was dynamic in his own right, but we wasn't together. We wasn't playing together like they are playing now. And I think that's to me the biggest thing that's going on. It's complementary football at its finest. And each and every week you see some phase of the game improves. I was just talking about the secondary. Yeah, everybody's screaming we need help. And yeah, we can always use help. But the one thing I can say about those guys, especially the few guys that came back from last year, they playing different. They don't look the same. And whether somebody give up a pass or not, that happens in this game. But you can see a difference in their step. You can see a difference in the way they play. And that all stems from coaching. And so it is a testimony to what coaching can do to your team. I see the way that this team is flying around defensively. So many guys are at the ball, at the snap of the ball. And when whoever has the ball, Joe Witt talked about showing up and being violent, hitting people. And that's what you see defensively. And then offensively, you see these guys executing. It's every time someone answers something that they do well, they find a way to show them something again and say, you know what? Oh, you got us that time. Okay, this time we're going to execute it this way. And that's one of the things that stand out. So coaching is playing a big part in why this team is so successful right now.
Oh, definitely. So, Gary, talking about coaching up in Dallas, they may be losing their coach if they don't start winning again. But can Dallas, now that Deck may be out, can they win with Cooper Rush? What's your thoughts on?
They losing the guy that's playing like he's a coach. He ain't no coach.
Hey, Tony, but he came close to helping that team pull it out. But can with Dallas so messed up right now, Cooper Rush may be the guy that you got to go with the rest of the season. Will Dallas be able to turn things around a little bit with him?
Well, you just said, you just never know. You never know about the guy who you never get to see play usually. The backups are on great football teams. The backups are typically as good or better than the starters. That's what will make the great football teams win. Those are the teams that win Super Bowls. When they have players that can come in, step in for a player, and you don't miss a beat. We were fortunate back when we had our Washington teams. We had players like that. People forget that Ricky Sanders used to be on second string. He ends up being one of the best receivers you ever had, in Redskins/Commanders history. So your backup should. Doug Williams come off the bench and we win Super Bowl 22. Come on now. So you have great teams. You have great personnel throughout the whole team. Not just having a great starting 22. You got to have a great starting 44. At the end of the day. That's really what it comes down to, in my opinion. So it depends on if this guy's great or not.
Hey, Tony, let's go around the league a little bit more and everything. The Buffalo Bills are 7-2. Everybody thought that they were stumbling out of the blocks, but they had a thriller against the Miami Dolphins. They won that game 30-27. Is this Buffalo team a team that should be in the conversation for real now? Because they'll win and then they'll disappear. But should we be seriously thinking about this Buffalo team, as they move forward?
Only time you need to think about them is if they continue to make the quarterback the key person. And the reason I say that, he has the talent. And he went to the University of Wyoming, as I may say. But at the same time, they depend on him too much. And whenever he's hit, whenever he's nicked, whenever he goes down, it's not the same team. So they're doing the right thing. They bring some compliments around him. Let him know you don't have to make every big play. You don't have to make every big run. And they will be good. And the one thing, Donna, we always have to take into consideration, when it gets to be December in Buffalo, that's like they playing with 12 men and everybody else is playing with 11.
Yeah, so let's talk about the Atlanta Falcons. Santana, I'm coming to you. They're 6-3 in the NFC South. Everybody thought they get a new coach, quarterback in Kirk Cousins, and that this team is going to be in the rebuilding. What is Atlanta doing? Because they seem like they're a team that you better watch out for.
Raheem Morris, I think the coach, they're taking on his identity. And not only that, it all starts with the quarterback. I think that team is Kirk Cousins has brought to that team stability at the quarterback position. That's one of the things that you can give them some credit for. I think if you watched them a couple of years before when they had Reader and one of the other guys, they wasn't bad. Just the quarterback just kept losing games for them, turning the football over every time they gave the football back. So I say Raheem is doing a great job. He's a guy that we know. I've had Raheem around as a coach since my rookie season as a Jet. He was with me with the Jets, and then later on in my career, he came over to the Redskins and had to stint here with us. But he's a phenomenal coach, man. He's one of those guys that I'm happy he got a chance to get a second chance at being a head coach, and I'm happy he's having success. Now, when we see him later on in the year, we're gonna hopefully put an end to all that, for this year. But he's definitely a guy that you got to give full credit to, why that team is being successful right now.
And you're right, and not just him.
You got the last word as we go to a break.
It's not him, just him. It's all the coaches. And I watched them as well when I was a uniform inspector. And these young coaches have learned well how to be very good coaches and figure right in with their players. This is going to be a team have to be reckoned with. But their defense, which took another hit when Grady got hurt the other day, is not going to make it through. They're a very good team, but that's the one thing going to hold them back. When we come back, we'll talk about other teams. If you notice, I don't even mention San Francisco anymore. We'll be back in a moment.
Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus Speakers Bureau offers you various opportunities to connect with former and current players along with Tony and the crew. For more information, go to redmagplus.com Speakers Bureau.
Next.
If you guys are hearing this whistle, we are doing Tabata, which is 20-10 8 times. We'll do 20 reps. We'll go for 20 seconds, rest 10 seconds. But I can do 20 reps in 20 seconds. I had them do 10 reps in 20 seconds. So we'll do that the whole time and end up with 80, end up with 160. So that's what you can do with this drill with Tabata. It's a fun workout. It's a cardio workout as well. Go. All right, go get 5.
Well, my favorite part of the show is always those fitness tips from Ricky Irvins. He had us doing push-ups and pull-ups, and I can't even do a pull-up. I told somebody, I said, evidently my arms is not strong enough. I need to work on the guns. But Tony, the sports challenge is heating up. Solomon and Tony. And I'm talking that they're one game apart as far as Crystal City Pub, Crystal City Restaurant, the Glory Days, Kellogg's, and also the Go-Go Group. And I say the Go-Go Group because
you got to talk to Big Solomon about that. We're getting ready to go back on y'all, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, so Solomon, when you talk about as far as Kellogg's, what comes to mind when you talk about Kellogg's?
Tony the Frog Flakes, they're great.
And then we got
also that's going. What you saying?
We got the Glory Days.
Oh, when I think of Glory Days, that's some good old wings and fries.
Sports bar, the Crystal City Pub.
Great burgers, and if you don't want burgers, they got a great salmon with a salad.
Oh, okay, could get a little health in there. And it's also Crystal City Restaurant, who is kind of like right in there neck and neck with everybody.
Billy Baines, my man.
Great tomahawk steaks.
And then you know what? When we want some music, where do we go?
Still familiar with the great Steve Roy and Company. Good old Go-Go, the music of the DMV.
Hey Tony, no, you ain't part of no go-go. So you just stay out of the conversation. So look, again, sports challenge heated up. Everybody is a game apart. we picked the Sunday night game, and we also picked the Monday night game. So it's competition all the way up into
and
the
whoever
Super Bowl.
wins it, not Donna, whoever wins it, we're going to do a little chalk talk at their place during the course of the year, correct?
That is correct, Tony. So
and we
you'll
got
have
a couple more people still looking to get in, but we're going to have to shut it down after this week. So you need to tell the fans, anybody want to get in, they got to make the move.
Yeah, because you know what? You don't want to be out in the cold and everything. You want to get into this challenge because it's heating up on Sunday night and Monday night. And so we want to come out to your place. If you're the winner, we want to come out to that. And if the go-go band, they may let me come in and play a little bit. I ain't trying to sing. I just want to play a little bit. So, Tony, let's go back around again. We didn't finish up all the games because things heated up. Solomon, I'm coming to you first. As far as Seattle, they started off strong in the division, and now they're starting to slip a little bit. What has happened to the Seahawks right now because they've lost their last 2 games?
Player personnel change in players and personnel change in coaching. They're still trying to figure it out. That's a fresh coach. They've been used to the Pete Carroll era for a while, and they're new players. So I'm not too surprised that they're not winning because they gave up a lot of. I mean, Bobby Wagner's been a big piece, and then you got to look at they do have a new coach. So they're just. I mean, they're on a downfall right now. That's all I can say about them at this point.
Hey, Tony,
yeah, but they're playing good, and they get right to the end of the game and make a big mistake. You know, just like on Sunday. If you take a look at them, they've lost about 4 games by about 5 points.
That's coaching, though. That's coaching, Pop, because sometimes at the end of the game, that's when the coach uses the talent and grabs the chalkboard and draws up a play. So that was strictly coaching, not talent.
Yeah. So I'm coming to you, Santana. The Chargers suddenly are not being heard about what they're doing. They're at 5-3 right now. Are the Chargers a team that people should be talking about a little bit more than what they are?
I think they talked about enough. I think Harbaugh is Harbaugh. You know, they know the formula that he plays with, that he coaches with, and that's one of the things they want to do is run the football first. They find a way to slow down things from their quarterback having too much pressure on his shoulders. We know he has a huge arm, but I think his formula wins. His formula travels. And right now, when it gets time to this time of the year, where you know the I guess you can say the thick of the season, you got to have a run game, and that's what he's shown from day one. He's going to run that football. He's going to run the air out of the football. So to me, right now, what's standing tall is his defense, and he's running the ball.
Hey, Gary, what about the Cardinals? I know you were with the Cardinals in your career and everything. Right now, they're setting at 5-4. They beat the Bears pretty bad, 29-9. Is the Cardinals a team that's starting to get better at this point because they struggle early on?
Yeah, you just never know what you're going to get out of them, quite honestly. Even early on in the season, they play good, and then they come back and they play bad. So overall, I think you just don't know what you're going to get. They're a mixed bag of tricks, quite honestly. So if they come out and play the way that they can play, they'll win the football game. If they come up and don't play the way that they can play, they'll lose the football game. So it really depends on which team shows up for the Cardinals.
Hey, Tony, you got the last.
You got you a cocktail right there, bro. You were in the dark on it. When we come
Hey,
back,
Tony, you got the last word as we go to break about the Texans at 6-3. They're an up and down team right now. Tony?
Well, you know, if you take a look at them, I don't really believe in them at this point. I think they're like the rest of the team. They're growing. It's a couple of teams out there that you can naturally see that they are going to be contenders. But this year is a very fun year. Injuries, play, and everything is going to come involved. So I think at the end of the year, you have some people there that you didn't think were there before. Now, we're going to come back and end up this big boy. A lot of people have been asking me, Donna, about the Black 14. So we got a little thing we're going to do on them. But one thing I'm not going to let you get away with, you finally looked up and went 5-0, but I did too in the picks.
You still behind. In the Minute with Tony and Donna. You can catch them weekly on their podcast, and you can also subscribe to their YouTube channel, In the Minute.
We know it's not Black History yet, but we've been doing a project, myself and some of my old college players, and we've given away over 1 million pounds of food to the underprivileged in the last couple of years. We're making this grow. I want you guys to see it because I'm going to come to you and ask for your help someday, but this is something about the Wyoming Black 14. We'll start doing these each and every week.
People don't know the real story of what happened.
Their championship was taken away from them in 1969. We are living in their championship now.
It was an unbelievable series of events and an unbelievable time.
50-some years later, good is coming from it.
Over a 2-year time period, we've given 800,000 pounds of food.
Is about way more than just filling bellies. It's about filling souls.
They are impacting state after state after state after state.
Out of travesty, it has turned into triumph.
You cannot not want to be a part of something like that.
And we're going to show the world how to love.
From the majestic Tetons to the cattle-covered grasslands, they're talking about football, Wyoming football.
You look at 52 years ago what happened to us at the University of Wyoming.
The Cowboys' 1969 football season follows it with this strike to flanker John Griffin for 29.
One of our takeaways for that day was we're not going to let this incident define us for the rest of our lives.
1969, October 15th, the Black Students Alliance said, you guys know who you're playing this weekend. And of course, yeah, BYU.
The Cowboys taught Brigham Young a lesson in opportunism.
Do you guys know who owns BYU? The Mormons. We wanted to show how we felt about specifically the Mormon church, the BYU game, and how the players, the African-American players, were treated the year before.
Causing a BYU fumble with 13 seconds remaining in the half.
The last game I played there, the two things happened I will not forget is, I went up to a official and told him this guy was jumping in the back of my legs, trying to hurt me. He told me to shut up and play ball. As soon as we got off the field, the sprinklers came on. They were washing the field down. That was part of the protest. We wanted people to know that that should never happen. And if you were African American, you could not advance in the priesthood of the church. The method we chose was to wear black armbands.
And head football coach Lloyd Eaton of the Wyoming Cowboys.
We said, well, let's take the armbands over there and allow him to see them. Now, the last thing we said that was really important was, if he says no, we will not wear them.
Coach comes out, I meet you in the field house. He positions himself right in front of us, we're all seated.
He walked out, and the first thing he said was, as of this moment, you're no longer a Wyoming Cowboy. As of now, you're no longer Cowboy football players.
You're no longer Wyoming Cowboys. And we went, we're not going to talk about this?
And that was the end. He booted us off the team, and that's how that happened. We did not refuse to play in the game. We simply went to the coach to ask permission to wear these black armbands.
And then he starts spewing venom.
For 2 hours, half of you don't even know who your fathers are.
You're going to be on subsistence programs for the rest of your life.
I got you off the street, Tony McGee, picking up cigarette butts in Battle Creek.
There's no other university that will ever invite you to play football for them. We were kicked off the football team. All we were doing is asking to wear armbands. Had he said no, we would not have worn those armbands. And I knew then, we're done. Had I had the wherewithal as a 21-year-old, I would have said to the coach that day, you can spew all the kind of venom you want. I'll see you in 40 years. And we just dispersed throughout the country.
55 years ago, in October of 1969, 14 young men on the Wyoming football team wanted to bring attention to situations they felt were wrong, and they were punished harshly for that desire. But what has happened in the decades since is truly awe-inspiring.
I hope that you got the gist of that. And one thing about it is we're not asking for no certain amount of money. We're not asking. When we talk about underprivileged neighborhoods, we go everywhere. We've gone on reservations. We've gone overseas. We've gone everywhere and giving the food away. All we want is your help because we've been doing this for 3 years. And one thing about it, we took something that happened at the University of Wyoming 50 years ago, and we've been able to feed people over 1 million pounds of food. If that's not God, that ain't work. We'll be back in a moment.
One more thing.
You have to take a look at our picks. I'm going to tell everybody by now, but we need you to come back because we're going to get deep on you. But then you look at the pick. Donna and I went 5-0 this week.
I'm number
I
one.
knew she was using my cheat sheet. She just cheating and everything. But one thing
I'm
about
number
it,
one. How am I cheating?
You know one because you keeping the score. But we'll be back next week. And I tell you what, we had some glitches this week. We had some different things. But each week, we're going to bring you something different. And one thing about it, people talk about luck all the time. But a lot of times, luck is where opportunity meets preparation, and preparation meets opportunity. Whichever way you want to go, it's all good. We'll be back next week. And one thing we never say goodbye. We say in the minute.